Once again, good morning, dear student. Let us start and finish the remaining part of ITC. We have understood the basic meaning of ITC. We have understood how the ITC plays a very vital role as far as tax computation in GST is concerned. We have also seen how ITC has been explained in different sections, section 16 to 21 of CGST Act 2017. Out of that, 16 and 17, I hope you must have kept it in your assignment book and you are going to use it uh, for future reference. Now we have sections 18, 19, 20, and 21. Among them, 18 is bit descriptive in nature and rest all. So let us first finish that and then very quickly, and then we will going to take it up few practical questions based on ITC. So as I have rightly stated, it is very simple uh, to have the computation of ITC. Whatever the external liability you have, output tax liability, against that input tax credit you will take, that will be the final computation of tax liability. Okay, this special circumstances and all will be going to have in subsequent section of 18, and these are the different questions, small question which are based on ITC adjustments. So here we had section 16 and 17 discussion. Now let us finish 18, 19, 20, 21. Once you'll be completing this, just let me know quickly, and then we will have few practical questions based on this. So as you have rightly getting over here, how the availability of credit in special circumstances. That is what just now we have seen in the previous slide. Okay, which is explained under section 18 of CGST Act. 18.1 is talking about subject to such condition and restriction as may be prescribed. So section 18 subsection 1 clause A, a registered person shall be entitled to take ITC credit proceedings from the day from which he became liable to pay tax under CGST Act. So then only he is going to take the benefit, as I have earlier also said you in previous sections. Section 16, subsection 1, clause B. A person who takes the registration under section 25. I'll tell you how the section 25 works after three slides. Here we have section 25, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So that in tomorrow's lecture we are going to see, so that thereby you will understand how the registration take place. Subsection 3 shall be entitled to take ITC for input held as a stock from raw material, work in progress, as well as finished goods. Any registered person under section 10 shall be entitled to take ITC of input held as stock, any kind of stock, and capital goods. And section 18 subsection 1 clause D states, where an exempted supply of goods and services by a registered person becomes a taxable liability if such person shall entitled to take ITC for raw material, WIP, and finished goods. So section 18, subsection A, B, C, and D is talking subject to such condition and restriction as may be prescribed in the Act. Section 18, subsection 2 states a registered person shall be entitled to take ITC under section 18A in respect of any supply after the expiry of 1 year from the date of issue of tax invoice of such supply. So this is the time limit, availability of limit of credit. So by then, if you are not doing it, then it may expire and you will not get the benefit of it. Section 18, subsection 3 says, where there is change in constitution of a registered person, an account of sales, merger, demerger, amalgamation, lease, transfer of business with a specific provision of transfer of liability, the said person shall be allowed to transfer to utilize ITC of his electronic credit ledger. So we have three ledgers: liability ledgers, uh, cash ledger, and credit ledger. Okay, so that all we are going to learn. So these are the three major ledgers which a businessman keeps. So in credit ledger, all ITC details are there. In liability ledger, basically your output tax liability goes. And in cash ledger, how much we are paying to the government in different forms, through online, through cash, etc. All details are there. Like how we had an experience of different ledger of purchase, sales, etc., etc. Section 18 subsection 4 says, where any registered person who availed ITC opts to pay tax under section 11. I hope you are able to recollect section 11, which talks about exempted goods. He shall pay an amount by way of different in electronic credit ledger or electronic cash ledger. I think just now I have discussed about these two different ledger. And third one is liability ledger. Equivalent to such credit of input tax in respect of input held as stock. Okay. Section 18 subsection 5 says the amount of credit under subsection 1 and the amount payable under subsection 4 shall be calculated in such a manner as may be prescribed. Okay, so against output, against the exempted good, right? How it could be adjusted, it is explained under section 18 subsection 5. And section 18 subsection 6 says, in case of supply of capital goods, ITC has been taken, the registered person shall pay an amount equal to ITC for the transaction value under section 15, whichever is higher. Transaction value means the value of supply what you have computed. And we have seen many a times in value of supply we have went further and we computed the output tax liability. So output tax liability is very important to have the adjustment and set off your input tax credit, which is available in credit ledger. And remaining you have to pay through cash ledger. Liability will be described in liability ledger. So rule 41 and 42 to be learned along with this. 41 specifying transfer of credit on sales, merger, amalgamation, lease, transfer of business. Just now they stated that there you have to again avail the benefit because the ownership get transfer. And 42 manners of reversal of credit and specific circumstances. 19, 20 and 21 talks about CAG, provide the principle a person supplying the taxable goods to the job worker shall entitled to take the input tax credit. Okay, for job worker, the job work. These were the lacuna of MVAT, which has been very effectively taken care in CGST Act. Section 20 talks about the manner and distribution of credit by input service distributor. And 21 is talking about input service distributor shall distribute in such a manner may be prescribed the credit of CGST as CGST, IGST and IGST or CGST by way of issue a prescribed document containing inter alia the amount of input tax being distributed being reduced thereafter. So this is how all section from 16 to 21 is describing about ITC, and 22 to 30 is talking about registration, which we will be going to learn in tomorrow's morning session. Okay. So literally section 1 to 30 of CGST Act is there in our syllabus. So just now I have told you 22, section 22 to 30 is there in registration, and you have seen 16 to 21 talking about ITC. 1 to 15 you know very well. Okay, one is introductory, two is definition, 3, 4, 5 is CGST, and 7 is talking about supply, 8 is mixed and composite supply, 9 is talking about compositions, levy and collection of tax, 10 is talking about composition scheme, 11 is talking about exemption, 12 is talking about time of supply for goods, 13 is talking about time of supply for services, 14 if there is a change of tax rate. I hope these all are there. 15 we have done for value of supply. Am I right? And apart from that, we have also studied uh, four section of IGST Act to understand place of supply. Section 10, 11, 12, and 13. Am I right? This is precisely your syllabus of semester 5 of GST in BAF. So I hope you have taken up this slide. मैंने पहले भी बोला था स्लाइड का स्क्रीनशॉट ले लीजिए. Should we go for the questions now? So should we go for questions? I believe yes. Just 1 second. No, 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 no. There is no capital requirement as such. Registration is must. See, when you will buy the goods, many a times right now also we are paying the GST whenever we buy the goods. But we are unable to avail the benefit of ITC. Why? Because we are not registered. I can avail because whatever the product we are buying, all the product on which we are paying the GST. Suppose when we buy the ticket from railway, we paid the GST. But I can't avail the benefit. But similarly, if the corporate books the ticket on their behalf and they paid the GST, they can avail the ITC benefit. So there is no capital requirement. Rather, it is whether you have registered or not, because the benefit, just now I have told you in different sections 16 to 21. To avail the ITC, you have to have the output tax liability. We don't have any output tax liability. Okay. But if the companies sending their goods, they pay huge amount of GST and they're availing the benefit when they are liable to pay the GST. So when there is output tax liability, they are availing the benefit of income input tax credit of GST. Very simple fundamental. Any other doubts related to ITC? To anyone? It's very simple funda. Whenever there is a liability, everyone wants to pay after setting off which has been paid by earlier vendor. Simple. Anyone? Any doubts? Please let me know. Then we'll go for the questions. Please be quick. Yes. As per section 18, subsection 4, yes. That is why I have given all the different provisions which has been described in several pages for ITC in your CA and ICWA book. So this, tabular form of my PPT is very helpful. And why it is helpful? Because your exams this year is objective based. They did not going to give you 15 marks. Do you understand? So for such kind of learning in studying in pages and pages is not going to serve my purpose. Do you agree with me or not? So they can't ask full length questions. They are going to ask only objective type questions. For such things, we have to change our, strategies as per as learning of the subject is concerned, which you must have experienced when there was online exams for your internals. You know, wo pura ka pura how it has been summarized, and they can test your knowledge about it. Sections, subsections, they are very favorite for the paper setter. And again, keep in mind, here the paper setter is anyone from 10 colleges of this cluster. Like in 1920, we haven't got 2-3 papers where we have set the papers. Because in our cluster, there are 10 colleges. So cluster decide who will. So it is as good as university pattern. So please study. That is why I have not, kept anything pending. Today also I have discussed from section 1 to section 30 of CGST Act 2017. Also section 10 to section 13 of IGST Act. So precisely we are with the syllabus. Any other doubts? Should we proceed further now? Wait. जस्ट राइट यस और नो यार, समझ में नहीं आता क्या करने। इतना टाइम लगता है? थक गए आप लोग? तो जो हम लोग कितने थक गए होंगे आपसे। Okay. So we had seen just now one question where it was very simple because अच्छा this was a homework किया आप लोगों ने? How much you is actual output tax liability and how much ITC? Anyone? Let me see 10. This is the tax liability. No, मैं ITC पूछा था, ITC कितना बेनिफिट हुआ है? 180 rupees. डोंट वरी, दिस ऑल हैज बीन प्रोवाइडेड टू यू बिफोर एग्जाम ऑल्सो। इसमें बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस है, आप उसको प्रैक्टिस करो। ओके, विच विल मेक योर फंडामेंटल क्लियर एज पर एज क्वेश्चन ऑन ITC is concerned. Even if you'll go to the Excel sheet of ours related to ITC, there are very few questions because it is repetition what we have learned earlier. Same type of question just now you have seen, है ना? The problem is not when CGST, CGST, SGST, SGST. The problem will arise when we have IGST. ओके, हमने गुड्स यहाँ प्रोड्यूस किया, यहाँ से पुणे भेजा, बट पुणे वाले ने कर्नाटका में मैंगलोर में सेल किया। अब कैसे एडजस्ट करेंगे? So then there, here he has paid CGST, SGST. There he is liable to pay IGST or UTGST or anything else. How to adjust that? That is the crux of ITC learning. Okay. For that, I'm sending you one WhatsApp message and one Word file, which will make your fundamental clear. So I hope you must have done this practice also. This is third question, which was different than what we have seen earlier. And likewise, we have different questions. This you have already done. अभी आपने बताया 180 वाला answer. Okay. The problem will accrue and arise when we have going to deal with this kind of question. This one. Mr. Y of Solapur purchased the goods from B of Nasik. The said goods sold to A out of state after making 20% of value addition. If, calculate the GST if the rate is 18%. So here it is intrastate tax, here it is interstate tax, here CGST, SGST, here IGST. तो क्या करेंगे? How to adjust? Where to adjust? Is there any provision? Okay. So for that, just now I have shared one WhatsApp message. Just read out all of you. मैंने भेजा है कोई आपके WhatsApp पे, आपने रीड किया? सास बहू और बेटा, right? Husband, don't laugh. That is very perfect things to understand this ITC adjustment. Okay. So purposely I have taken son as IGST, right? Mother-in-law as CGST and daughter-in-law as SGST. Am I right? अरे समझ में आ रहा है? बेटे को मैंने IGST माना, अभी लड़कियां भी हंस रही है. सास को मैंने CGST माना और बहू को मैंने SGST माना. वापिस ये बहू जब भी सास बनती है तो वापिस ही वैसी रहती है. मतलब अभी तक ऐसा स्टोरी दिखाता है इंडियन टेलीविजन में, और बहुत पब्लिक उसको लाइक करता है, बहुत टीआरपी मिलता है. आई डोंट नो, आई डोंट हैव एनी डिस्क्लेमर. भाई मैं ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, कल नहीं तो ये महिला मंडली उठ जाएगी, सर आप रॉन्ग बोलते हो, हर एक सास ऐसी नहीं होती, हर एक बहू ऐसी नहीं होती. मैं एक जेनरिक चीज बता रहा हूँ टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस आईटीसी कंसेप्ट. अब क्या होता है, सास बहू की कभी नहीं हुई है, कितना भी स्टोरी बना ले, कभी सास, क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी, क्योंकि बहू वापस कभी सास बनेगी, ऐसा तो इंडिया में चलता नहीं है. जब भी बनेगी वो सास ही बन जाएगी वापस, और वापस वो अपने बहू की कभी नहीं होगी, बहू को एज ए बेटी नहीं मानेंगे. ऐसा सब एक मिथ है. इट माइट नॉट बी रियलिटी इन योर केस, बट जो जो हंस रहे हैं उनको ये सारी चीजें पता चल रही है, क्योंकि मेरे पास मोहित, रुशिक, रॉस्टिन, अपराजिता और सुनीता और मेघना के अलावा पता नहीं वो लोग कौन कौन से सास बहू की स्टोरी देख रहे हैं. सो मैंने इसलिए बताया क्योंकि अगर कुछ आता है, सास विल नेवर शेयर विथ डॉटर इन लॉ, ऐसा बताया गया है. ये सही नहीं होना चाहिए, बट ऐसा बताया जाता है. ओके, सास बहू को पैसा नहीं देगी, बहू सास को नहीं देगी, बट जो बेटा है उसको सास को भी देखना है, उसको बीबी को भी देखना है. एम आई राइट? इसलिए आईजीएसटी कैन बी एडजस्टेड विद एनीवन, but CGST and SGST cannot be adjusted with, I mean CGST can't be adjusted with SGST, SGST cannot be adjusted with CGST. This was old provision. जैसे मैं बोला ना, ये पुरानी कथा थी अपनी, ऐसे पहले हुआ करता था. अभी तो बहू ही कभी कभी सास बन जाती है और सास को काम करवाती है, और ऐसा सब भी देखने को आता है. और मैं तो मेनी टाइम्स ढूंढते ही रहता हूँ, आई मीन वेयर इज एक्चुअल. चलो जाने दो, मेरे पास बहुत कम टाइम है, मेरे को कॉलेज भी जाना है. बट दिस इज वेरी नाइस, एंड लास्ट ईयर भी बहुत सारे बच्चों ने इसको लाइक किया था, लास्ट ईयर के बच्चों ने भी बहुत लाइक किया था. तो एक मैं अपने कंसेप्ट के हिसाब से लाता हूँ, और बच्चों को बहुत अच्छा लगता है टू अंडरस्टैंड आईटीसी. सो लिटरली आईटीसी वाज द सेम व्हाट इज देयर इन दिस स्टोरी. सॉरी, ये दूसरा चीज है. and this also has been shared with you all. This was the old rule. There is just fresh revision took place in July 2019. ओके ये कुछ क्वेश्चन और मैं दे दूंगा. ओके उसके बाद तो लॉकडाउन ही हो गया था. But you know, as being the indirect tax, immediately it will be implemented in our syllabus. Yes or no? Okay. So earlier, whatever has been discussed here to you all is very clearly stated here. IGST is permitted. SAS not permitted for Bahu. Bahu not permitted to SAS. वो इसको पैसा नहीं देगी, ये इसको पैसा नहीं देगी, ये बेचारा सबको दोनों को मैनेज करना है. बहू एज वेल एज बहू नहीं सॉरी बीवी एज वेल एज मदर. बेचारा वो बीच का सैंडविच वही रहता है. देखो सब हंस रहे हैं सारी लड़कियां, वेरी गुड. बट आप लोग चेंज करो. हाँ इसलिए हम लोगों ने भी पूरे एक्ट में चेंज कर दिया है. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने चेंज किया है. ठीक है आप लोग सास भी कभी बहू थी तो बहू को सास ऐसा कुछ करना नया चीज. सो दिस वाज एज पर द लास्ट ओल्ड प्रोविजन जैसा अभी आपने देखा. एंड बहुत क्लियरली ये क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं हाउ इट वुड हैव बीन एडजस्टेड अर्लियर एंड यू नो how the illustration could be done when there is a new provisions. Okay, so remaining you have to pay off. Just now I told you through liability ledger, cash ledger. So jitna bhi liability basta tha they used to pay after adjustment. Okay, so these are very self-explanatory example. Just now as I told you, the problem will accrue and arise only when these, here it is very clear because CGST, SGST, but there was a liability of IGST. He has adjusted and finally whatever the liability was there, they have paid. But problem will arise when there is a set off of CGST and SGST. But as per the new provision, to greater extent, even there is SAS Bahu ka adjustment and they can set off those limit and remaining the amount to be paid off to the government by way of cash. Cash is very limited provision. Maximum 10,000 only you can pay. Remaining you have to pay NEFT, credit card, debit card, all online. So GST, as you know, everything through online. Not even payment also. Payment also through online mode. All to be reflected in your bank account. ओके सो ये सारे क्वेश्चंस मैंने अदर डिविजन्स में भी भेजा है, आपके लिए मैंने बना के रखा है. आप इसको रीड करो, अंडरस्टैंड करो. इफ एट ऑल यू आर नॉट अंडर सर ये ऐसे कैसे आया, देन वी विल एक्सप्लेन. ओके बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ सडन इट केम दैट भाई 2 दिन के अंदर सिलेबस खत्म करो. आई वॉज वेरी लकी, आई वॉज ऑलमोस्ट कंप्लीटेड द थिंग्स, तो मैंने उसको एडवांटेजियस लिया. नाउ नथिंग इज लेफ्ट. Only one lecture tomorrow, it will be together for all the divisions and will finish from 22 to 30. And there will be only one type of question which we are going to deal tomorrow. With that, our syllabus will be over. As you know, our teaching and our relation as a teacher and student will not going to get over. Right now also, Rushik is doing research under me. Many of you will take me as a guide because semester 6, there are only 5 subjects जिसका एग्जाम होगा. 1 subject will be either internship project or research project, 100 marks का. उसमें एग्जाम नहीं होगा, रिटर्न एग्जाम नहीं होगा, MCQ नहीं होगा, वो हम देंगे आपको मार्क्स. मैं FY से आपको बोल रहा था रिसर्च पे कमांड करो, रिसर्च पे कमांड करो. मेरे को लगता है इस क्लास में ओनली रुशिक इज योर मेंटोर. बी डिवीजन में ओनली आशुतोष इज द मेंटोर who can guide you for this. Okay, so please do the provisions, do the research work. Okay, and here also in GST, if you are not able to understand anything, please feel free. एकदम self explanatory है, कुछ नहीं है उसमें. Okay, so tomorrow when we will finish the registration part, we'll be able to over entire syllabus. Thereafter, you are feel free to contact to ask any type of queries. We will also try to provide you the book right? Me and Ashutosh is going to make it feasible and possible. Return book, जो ये सारी चीजें आपने देखी है, by end of next week. Okay, enough problems you have. Why I'm giving you, because objective में you have to read in between the line, and you have to change your strategies to get good marks.